rather than any particular strategy of a company.
Okay, thanks for that. Ben, did you want to mention that?
Just to go back to the point about the individual, of course, that try not to read people's minds. If you're leading a team or a department or a division, it's crucial that we don't just focus on the exit interview, why are you leaving us, but at the individual level, sit down with the person and actually ask I always use a structured set of questions to actually work out what they want. Do they want the career development? Are they after the money? There's all sorts of different factors, but unless we ask the question, we'll never know.
All right, thanks for that, Ben. Okay, final question. Tony mentioned real flexibility to attract and retain rather than flexibility for all. How could this be achieved in government organisations?
With great difficulty, but gee whiz, you just got to confront it, because the one size fits all, and pushing forward a legacy from the past is not the way to go. I feel that the organisation I'm currently working for are pretty receptive to that. How do I know that? You keep pushing the pace and getting on thinner and thinner ice, and to the extent it doesn't, you don't break through, the policy settings seem to follow. It is a real issue, but I think working closely with your HR colleagues, and certainly the point that Ben made, asking people, and it's not policy on the run, it's a different way of thinking about policy. It becomes far more flexible, far more individual, and it starts to meet the organisation's needs.
That's great. Anybody else like to make a comment?
Just going back to my experience within government, I suspect that the real changes will probably start with some of those quasi-government entities that are slightly less centrally driven. They've got the potential, at least, to get out there into areas of outside of policy, if you like. But it is a dangerous one in a government environment. I mean, people are very quick to, where there are exceptions, to take exception to it. So I don't underestimate the difficulties.
So that basically concludes the Q&A session. With the other questions that we received, I'll basically respond to those, and we'll probably post those either on our new website that's due to be launched shortly, or I'll put that in a PDF and email that out to you. It's probably the easiest way of doing that. If we can just thank our panellist speakers. If you can thank Neville, Moira, Tony, and Ben, thanks for participating in the forum. And also, just to leave you with the final message, what we are experiencing today is a snapshot into the future. 5 years is not all that far away. For who gets paid monthly? Can I just get a show of hands? Who gets paid monthly? Yeah, anybody get paid fortnightly? Okay, if you get paid monthly, that's 60 pays away, but if you get paid fortnightly, you have twice as much time. That's 120 pays away. And who can believe that we're up to March already? Yeah, so time is just pacing through. So the final activity, you need to go back to those numbers. Now, what we've done so far is you have a sheet of numbers, you have a vertical line, and you have a horizontal line. So why do you have a vertical line? Why do you have a horizontal line? And what does this actually mean to the workplace? Originally, when you did this activity, you had a jumbled set of numbers. And a few times that was mentioned during the presentations was the workplace is a fairly chaotic environment. Most people are trying to do twice as much with the same amount of resources, and there's activity to what's happening. Also, we've heard through the presentations that knowledge and experience and the imparting of wisdom, but the gaining of wisdom is also important. So that's why I've actually provided you with a vertical line and a horizontal line. If you look at the vertical line, all those numbers to the left-hand side are actually odd numbers. If you look to the right-hand side, all of those numbers are actually even numbers. Okay, now if you hadn't seen that before, that's a paradigm shift, so that's okay. If you look at the horizontal line, what the horizontal line is, it actually breaks the numbers in groups of 5. So for example, you notice that 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are in the top half, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 are actually in the bottom half, and then you go back up to the top half of the next set of 5. So we have our original benchmark. At the beginning, you had 30 seconds to identify how many numbers. By imparting knowledge and by gaining of experience of beforehand, plus also too focusing on a knowingness of systems and structures, is there a possibility where the workplace can be a lot more effective and efficient? And we can actually measure that in 30 seconds. So I have the stopwatch, you have the pen and the paper. Benchmark your comparison. Okay, ready? Get set, go. Now, I don't know the difference. Most people will usually have about a 60 to 70% increase on the original task. So maybe this maybe this is the message. Maybe the message is what we are experiencing today. We're working with existing systems and processes. If we can go back to the workplace and share and impart our wealth of knowledge by focusing on systems and processes and getting input and experience, there's a high chance that the whole productivity and efficiencies will make life a lot easier as you head towards 2012. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, if I can just get you to say your thanks and appreciation to our speakers, to Neville, Moira, Tony and Ben. And our next innovation forum will be approximately about 3 to 4 months, and the theme at this point will be on the ageing workplace populations and issues associated with that. So again, if I can just ask you to fill out the evaluation forms and expressions of interest forms. You can leave those remained on the table. We'll collect those afterwards. And I'd just like to say thanks to the Sunday Times for their support for this innovation forum, and also to Barbara Gallows for their XJ6 Jaguar. Thanks very much, everybody. Have a good day at work. Thanks.